there another creature that might stand a chance against him?
Hey guys, we're back for Road to ProRaw. I'm Will. This is Jamie, the coach, and we're headed into the peaking block. We're heading into the end of this competition block for everybody who's been following along. 5.5 weeks out now when we're filming this, probably 5 weeks when it comes out. And yeah, serious end, the end where the stresses are adding up, the worries are in my mind as to whether I've done enough or whether I'm all the pictures in my mind of everything going wrong, but pretty standard for me, and pretty standard for anybody who's I think serious about anybody who takes it seriously, because I think if it means a lot to you, you're gonna
care.
Yeah, I do care, but at the same time, I in the past when I've had things go really well and things go really bad, and I've got a lot better at dealing with it, but still the thoughts get in the end of my mind, and they're still there. So anybody who thinks that they go away, they don't. But yeah, last couple of weeks, it's been 3 weeks, I think, since we filmed the last one. Things have gone really well. We hit that triples block like we talked about. Worked up to some really nice PB triples over the last week, which was a 330 for 3 squat, which moved really well.
Probably the best set of squats you've ever done, I reckon.
Definitely. Yeah, really nice and clean, all three. Really come a long way on squats. I think America and just a bunch of the stuff we've worked on, have just squats have taken the biggest.
Yeah.
It's come so far.
It's funny that we'll discuss it later, but also the volume is so low on them. It's something that people sometimes miss. Yeah.
They're just some little things in my head, just like things I'm doing different, things I'm learning to control. Just make all the difference. The bench, 200 for 3, equal PB, at least. I'm not sure if we hit it that well in the past, but if we did, it was pretty shaky. It was not saying that this one was easy, it was hard, but it's there, and definitely I would be happy to go in today and do it again. And the 350 for 3 dead, which was definitely a PB, something I wanted revenge on, because in America I got like 2.5, and that was the shittest reps of my life. So to hit it for 3 pretty cleanly, happy with that.
Man, you hit it for 3 at like an RP7, man. It was fucking flying.
Yeah, so deads are always like, they're always tough in my mind. Like I know I've got them. They've always been the one that I've been good at. But the progress is the hardest one for me to judge, because it just feels the same up until it's a max. So, so it's difficult with me on that. But yeah, feeling good. Not getting any, if we compare it to other preps, not getting any of the little like super bad back palms or any bad hip shift stuff, like loading up on that in the side of my hips. My knees are completely fine. Awesome. Shoulder bicep. I mean, it's not perfect. Still get a little bit of the low bar pissing it off, but I still think it's better than any. Like I've lasted longer, and it's manageable more than other preps. So.
Yep.
Everything's looking good, other than the last 2 days, or a couple of days last week, where I hit where I had a bit of a stomach virus, which meant that instead of hitting our last week of triples, I lost a few kilos, dehydrated, couldn't eat, things felt heavy, so started the peaking block a week early, which is where we're at right now.
We're sort of in like a transition phase, I will call it. Swing block is what Mike Deshira would call it, but we're in a bit of a transition. We don't really know how this week's going to play out, but it is what it is.
I see it myself as kind of set me up for a really good next week. Like just getting back on the horse, getting momentum back.
Yep.
Because up until those couple of days, I was feeling like I was just flying and I was going to smash everything. So that put a little bit of a speed bump there, but we're good now. I'm confident again.
Yeah.
So that leads us to where we are right now. About to, like I said, transition into this peak block. 5 weeks out. So, do you want to talk about the transition between and?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so
you've got in mind about this peaking.
So as we discussed off air there, but these transition periods from, so I would call what we just went through is like your heavy strength phase, some like hard triples and some like pretty decent hard 4, 5, 6 back offs, depending on the person, depending on what you select. We were doing 5s for the back off for the bench press in that example. So I would call that like our heavy strength phase, and now we're obviously going into our peaking phase. So how do we get from the heavy strength phase into the peaking phase? The biggest thing is just specificity to the outcome, which for us is singles in the squat, bench press, and deadlift. But for the most part, it's fatigue management. So we talk about this as one of our key principles of strength culture, but it's fatigue management at the end of the day, and it's recovery has to take priority at some point, because you'd rather be over recovered than under recovered in these periods. And the strength and the muscle building process has already gone. We've already been through that plan, and we've executed, and we're in PR territory land, which is awesome. So now it's managing fatigue, stripping back a little bit of volume, and ramping up specificity to those singles. So as you discussed with the stomach bug, it meant we've come in a week earlier into the singles, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, we take a very reactive approach here at Strength Culture, and I know you guys do as well at Nexus. So we've got an extra week of singles now, which is awesome. We've purposely held them back a little bit. So we hit a 350 single on the squat. We hit a 207.5 on the bench press, and we're going to hit about a 365, 370 later this week. And then from there, we'll see where we start the singles block. But I'm expecting that we're going to be just slightly above that, probably looking at like a 355, 360 squat, and then a trickle over maybe 210, 212 for bench press, and then in around that 375 mark for your deadlift, which will be a really, really good training week total, coming into the first real week of singles that's not a reactive, got sick, have to drop the triples and drop a little bit of volume off the back end as a result of that. So for the most part, we just keep those things in mind. Specificity is obviously the end goal. We need to hit some singles. We need to bring back some of the accessory volume and all that sort of stuff, so that we are potentiating your fatigue and actually allowing you to express your strength and your performance. And then it's just timing at the end of the day, making sure that we hit those final singles decent length out of competition, that we recover well, and the CNS is primed for ProRaw, which I think is a Sunday. Is that a Sunday this year for you?
Yeah, Sunday. So ProRaw runs over a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Females beat Friday, light, medium weight men on Saturday, and then the big heavy boys, which I am now.
The big boys.
On the Sunday. And so nice and fun. First time being on Sunday for me. And also it'll be first time being first on the day, because I really...
Oh, nice.
Because 110s is at the last on the Saturday usually. And I'm usually sitting there just like twiddling my thumbs until midday to start. And that's the worst part of the day for me. It's just from weighing at 8 a.m.
Waiting.
to when I start. And I'm just like sitting there like, really want to warm up, really want to do my thing. But so it'll be awesome to jump straight in, or actually keen to do that. So yeah, like you said, lowering a bit of the volume, intensity stays up for specificity. That pretty much starts the, I guess, recovery process, starts to bias things in. Each week should feel a little bit more recovered, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure.
What you mean. And then I guess we're going to do these more frequently, so we'll get talk to when we get to it. But at the end of the peaking block, when we're 1-2 weeks out, usually it'd be a bit more of an extreme dip in all that.
Yeah, taper down. Yeah. There's sort of two approaches you can take in that last period. One is obviously for a bigger, so like if you think about like your stimulus recovery adaptation curves, your SRA curves, which is in the Juggernaut Principles of Strength Training book, like bigger individuals with higher absolute loads and more muscle mass and more range of motion generally take longer to recover from session to session. But also if you think about that from like a peaking phase, it's going to take them a little bit longer to peak into that last piece because we do need to mitigate that fatigue and actually express performance. So somebody like yourself, we may pull your volume a little bit earlier in that peaking phase, whereas a smaller lifter, we may hold them into that fatigue and that stress state just a little bit longer to allow us not to detrain coming into the back end of the peak if we pulled it too early. So somebody like yourself, yeah, definitely we're going to be pulling it probably 2 weeks out, I would say, would be pretty much we're just getting to comp lifts and 1 or 2 back offs.
Yeah.
And I think most of our back offs this block will just be doubles. I think that's where I'm thinking with going. Squats will probably just be singles. It'll be a hard single and then maybe like 2 more lighter singles. But as we know with you and that hip, and it's probably just not worth going into too heavier back to back doubles and triples and stuff. So just as long as we get that skill expression on the single, we'll be happy.
Yeah, when we get to that point, I'll post up we'll overlay like a little, generally what we're doing, so people can see that. So yeah, it's pretty much full steam from here. Like I feel like when you said about the recovery stuff, from your point of view as a coach, lowering volume and all that stuff, and manipulating it to give me recovery, and from my point of view, something I always hammer into my guys is just like making sure the external factors are taken care of to absolutely maximize recovery. So from my point of view with this, it's almost like I just lock myself in my house and only leave to go to the gym. Honestly, like it's like just focus. My food's on point. I'm not going out and just having meals out or drinking or anything like that. Just focusing on getting my sleep in, making sure all my stuff's consistent. Everything's just 100% consistency in these last 4-6 weeks, and it's super important to make sure that each week is just consistent and the numbers are just flowing on. Last thing we need is that being a variable and then affecting like how the singles perform each week, and it's just frustrating. I'm both athlete and coach.
Yeah, no. Control as many, and especially somebody at your level, like those variables, any fluctuation in them can actually have a big impact on the system and its top end performance. Because if you think about it, like a race car, like a Ferrari, a top end Ferrari needs the perfect everything to allow it to perform, as opposed to like a Toyota Yaris. Like a flat tire is fine. Like it's all right. It's still going to do its job. So the higher up that mountain you are, the more important all those external variables are. The biggest one I think is consistency with nutrition and consistency with sleep.
Definitely.
Trying to nail those things down into some sort of a plan that you can actually get benefits from. So,
well, it mentally affects things as well, because like if I miss a little bit of that and then all of a sudden the squat session's a bit harder, even if you know the reason why, it's still in the back of your head. Like, it's hard. Yeah. Then you go into the next week like, I don't know, last week wasn't that bad, and it starts to affect your numbers selection maybe in terms of choosing the correct loads and stuff like that. So like it's not just like one off day. It sets the dominoes falling, in my opinion, and some people can deal with it better than others, but just for me, it's really important to make sure every session's as good as it can be, and just mentally stay on myself as well.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to clear up one thing because it just popped into my head. At the start of this, we spoke about you should be feeling more recovered through this phase. It may not present that you're feeling more recovered, and this is just other people obviously listening, somebody experienced like yourself, this. It's more so that your ability to express the singles is getting better. Not so much that you're feeling better every week and then all of a sudden you're like flying and you're like, woo, because obviously there's still a fair amount of like stress and fatigue on the system and emotional stress. So it's not so much that you're just physically feeling $1,000,000 through this peaking phase. It's more that your ability to express singles is getting better. That's our barometer of performance and barometer of progress through this period. So you should see your technique improve week to week to week. You should see that expression get better. You're in the groove more often with those singles. That's your barometer of performance, not I'm feeling better every week, physically, emotionally, stressfully.
It's not going to happen in prep, especially something like ProRaw that, like I said, means a lot. It just
for sure.
Get anxious, get worried,
and
get nervous, get excited. We did have a couple of questions pop up. I asked Instagram for their questions for us.
Probably the first time you actually got decent questions.
I really some of these are really good.
So thank you.
So I'm just going from top to bottom, no order. My routine before performing squat bench dead, in terms of warm-ups, mobility and stuff. These days I honestly don't do a whole lot. I go in, I know how a good squat feels for me. So I come in here, I'll do a little bit of like a 90-90 drill or some breathing stuff just to kind of, first of all, just kind of like just clear the mind, but also get a little bit of benefits from that, which we've talked at length about, so I'm not going to go into it. And then I'll hit pretty much just some goblet squats, just trying to feel the right things. So trying to making sure my lower back's not getting angry, making sure that I'm not getting TFLs kicking onto the bottom, making sure I can feel my glutes at the bottom, feel my abs during the squat, things like that. And then if they feel good, I'm literally going to jump under a bar and then just start to hit my warm-ups and then deal with anything that pops up in between warm-ups. So if I get under the bar, my shoulder feels tight, I'm going to go stretch that out a bit, come back, get my next warm-up, that feels better, and just continue on. It's almost like a reactive warm-up. But that's a bit comes with experience. So my advice to people is have it planned first, but you get better at that over time.
Yeah. Just on that, just a coaching point for most people. You should reduce the amount of warming up you're doing as you get better and understand your body more and all that sort of stuff. It might take you some basic motor, like we call them motor control drills, just some basic competency-based motor control drills, planks, split squats, and all that sort of shit. Mm-hmm. Eventually, though, that should be dissipating as you get better and stronger and able to actually use a barbell to tell you how you're feeling. And as you said, like to feel, oh, my hips are doing this, I need to go do this, or my back's doing this, I need to go do this. So it should be something that you're trying to reduce the amount of over time, not so much, I need to add more in because I'm getting stronger and I need to do more of this and more of that. I don't really agree with that at all. Yeah,
well, if you're getting beat up from your training and you're doing more drills to combat that, your training's probably...
look at the program,
or your technique. But
exactly.
Bench and deadlift, pretty much the same. It's going to be a regressed version, feel the movement, see if it feels good, do something about it if it doesn't. Mindset, am I going in like, shit, yeah, I'm going to win, or am I worried about it? Used to be more of the shit, yeah, I'm going to win, trying to like almost like fake it till you make it type thing. I talk myself into it. But these days it's not a thing at all. I just I know my goals. I know I want to hit 1,000 of this. If that gets me first, second, third, fourth, fifth, I give a shit. I mean, clearly I want to win. I'm not saying that I don't want to win, but there's less of a focus on it now. I just know what I need. I mean, like when you've got Nick DePreez doing a 400 casual, just rocking up to his garage and just no spotters, whatever. I mean, like it makes it hard. With
a walkout of an Alico.
Yeah, it makes it hard to go, yeah, shit, yeah, I'm going to smash that guy. But
you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to do your best. And I've seen crazy shit happen on the day at comps. So, you don't know. How many days of training a week? Watch any of these videos, you'll see. But it's 4 days a week. We post our heats, what they look like. Difference in how I'm now upper class. The difference for me, mainly with putting on this mass, is just mobility and just general tonicity. Like I just feel tight everywhere. Like shit's it doesn't affect squat, bench, deadlift, but it affects kind of my everything else. So my walking, my sleeping, my general life-to-life stuff. It's just a matter of adapting to that with time. So I've been through it before when going up weight classes before. I know what it's about. It sucks, but how it is. Health, no, I changed my diet very rarely. I'm a man of consistency, and I'm a person that's very boring with food. I just eat, and I just do what I'm told because I can't be bothered thinking every day.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Other than the question about transitioning between blocks, which we've already covered. So they keep these questions coming. People are watching this because they're really good questions. I really like this stuff. So helps me think of things that we, what the people want, what we need to talk about. Because sometimes when I'm thinking about this stuff, it's easy to overlook stuff that I think is, common sense.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's it for me. You have anything else?
No, not really. We'll be starting our peaking block next week. There will be a big reduction in accessory stuff. I think we'll keep our leg extensions and pec flies one more week. So
I don't know. Big story. PB, haven't posted it up yet, but big PB yesterday. Maxed out the pec fly.
The pec fly. for your 5 sets?
Absolutely belted it. So watch out.
Can you please post that? I want you actually to post it.
I will.
It will get attention. I'm telling you, it will get attention.
People want to see pec flies.
Either you're posting it or I'm going to post it on the strength culture page. So
my facial expressions were worse than 1RM squat. So
yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
I want that out there. So if it's not up there today, I'm posting it tomorrow.
I'm sure if I don't, I'll probably get a million requests. I can hear them now.
That's it. They're coming.
All right. Well, yeah, these are going to get a little bit more frequent during the peaking block because week to week changes. Week to week, like the numbers that I'm hitting and stuff are going to be a little bit more reactive. So yeah, we'll try and jump on it a little bit more and just deal with what's coming up. So
easy.
Keep an eye on the channel. I'll be posting something next to this channel probably every week, 2 weeks. So follow along.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Thanks for watching. Catch up.